If you're ready for a fresh start, this new moon is the one for you. I'm ready for this new moon. In Vedic astrology, it is in Leo. It's fiery. It is really going to bring in some great possibility for us to start a new cycle with a higher vision, to really have the faith that we need, to have the inspiration, and that's the fire part, and the commitment to follow through. We've got some Saturn aspecting this as well. Mercury's going direct with this new moon, and it really brings in that extra potential for a new start. It brings in clarity of mind and brilliance and being able to start to make these choices maybe that you've been holding back on. Hi, I'm Prema, and thanks for being here. Feel free to subscribe, like, share this around. I appreciate that greatly. If you want to know what your Vedic astrology ascendant or moon is, grab the free chart calculator. It is in the description below at my website, solutionary.com, SOULUTIONARY. So let's remember what a new moon is. It is a new lunar cycle, and it starts the lunar cycle. The full moon is the middle of the lunar cycle, and that brings the light outward, where the new moon is the sun and the moon together, and this is happening in Leo in Vedic astrology, with Mercury retrograde, aspected by Jupiter, aspected by Saturn, and those are all retrograde, but thank goodness Mercury is going to turn direct. It's a time to go within. When the sun and moon are together, the moon is a dark moon. It really is about turning inward. It also can bring up some of the shadows that go along with that. But this is the energy that starts a new cycle. And we get to that full moon, then we want to look at where we are in that cycle and illuminate our consciousness and be able to see what we need to see to bring things into balance as we heal and complete the lunar cycle. So on September 14th, the new moon in Leo at 27 degrees in Uttara, Phalguni. It is a new start, as I said. It's in Leo, and it represents our creativity in a big way. It is the natural fifth house of the zodiac, but for you, for me, for all of us, it represents something unique because the Leo represents a specific house in your chart, but it is the natural fifth house, which is our mind, it is our children, it is our purva punya, it is the merits we've brought into this lifetime, our gifts, and it is our creativity, really heightening our brilliance and our communication as well because of Mercury there. Now, this fiery new moon highlights our leadership. Leo is about leadership in so many ways, and it is really helping us to have that light on our new intentions on what it is that we want to lead. Now, Uttara Phalguni, the nakshatra that it bridges Leo and Virgo, and it begins in Leo, in, again, this regal sign of Leo that also has to do with our wealth and our success and our creativity, like I mentioned, and entertainment. And it is in the place where we have two fixed stars in the tail of the lion and known as the reddish one. And it can bring opportunities for growth and expansion, and that really can help us to overcome any of our creative blocks and really give us creative liberation. So if you have been struggling with, things you've wanted to move forward on a creative level, whether you consider yourself a creative person or not, you are a creative. You are creating all the time. You're co-creating with the divine. And whether that's a project, whether that's what you're doing in your business, your work, in your family, in your home, you're anywhere. And this gives us a great amount of breakthrough in that area. And when we're in creativity, we're connected with the divine and we're in flow. So this is wonderful for all of us. And I encourage you to really tap into your creativity and where you're being called to use it with this new moon. Aryaman is the deity of Uttara Phalguni, and Aryaman really highlights, again, our leadership. Leo is so much about leadership. In the Sacred Wealth Code system, this is where we find the celebrity, it's where we find the king, and where we find the leader. Now, it's this also known as the star of patronage, and this is really connects us to our kindness and our compassion for humanity and brings out our generosity. You see, Leo is a sign, it's a fire sign, but it's a fire sign that's a fixed sign. So think of fire in the modality of a fireplace where it's held and it's radiating its heat, it's radiating its light. And Leo has this ability to help us connect with our generosity and, give. And just like that fire in the fireplace gives. So really be connected to, how you're being called to be more compassionate towards humanity, where you're being, pay attention to where you want to be generous and just move with that flow. And of course, Leo connects us with our purpose and what we're leading and our greater vision. And your vision, when you're really connected to it and following through on it, is going to serve humanity. So this also, we find this sort of friendship energy that's like really helpful, which goes on connecting with humanity and who can we help. Now, there's a big theme in this nakshatra around agreements. And then let's connect this to Venus, which has gone direct recently, just on the 3rd of September. And Venus had been in retrograde for quite some time, really bringing up a lot about relationships. I've talked about this a lot, and you can refer to my September update for more about that. But what I want to invite you to really listen into for yourself is, what have you learned around relationships, and especially around your agreements in relationships? Because with Venus moving forward, it's time to make new choices. And with this new moon and with Mercury going direct, we're going to feel like we have that clarity to start to put those new choices into action. And so we've been evaluating agreements on a lot of levels, even with the eclipse pattern and where the eclipse pattern has been for the last year and a half in Libra and Aries, our personal freedom and independence in Aries, and Libra, our connections and our compromises and relationships. So it's been a big theme for us around relationships. And this new moon can really help us to move forward in a new direction around some relationships by making new agreements with ourselves and with others. But agreements always start with ourselves first. So I want to encourage you to really contemplate that, because this nakshatra also is a very auspicious place for marriages. In fact, this is where Shiva and Shakti got married. I actually planned my marriage having the moon in this nakshatra for that very reason. It brings a lot of grace. It has the energy of protecting family and prosperity and inheritance, and really puts a focus on family unity. In fact, Lakshmi's birthday happens in this nakshatra. The root of the word luck, it comes from the root of the word luck. And it really is about being focused on our soul goal. And when she was born, she knew what she wanted. She aimed high. And it gives us that energy to be able to connect in and aim high. Aim for what it is our soul is calling to us, not what our programming is calling to us, not what the world is telling us we should want, we should have, we deserve, but what does your heart really want for you? And also, one thing about Lakshmi is she knew to the core of her being that she was part of the divine, a child of the divine, just as each and every one of us is. When we're remembering that is when we're in our higher frequency, and when we are not separated from the source of our being. Just like every wave is a unique expression of the ocean, but still part of the one, part of the ocean. So this also gives us that, what is that soul goal that we've been that we're being called to. The soul wisdom question, you can ask for that, and you can always pause this and contemplate this, or any of the questions that I ask in my updates is, what is it that your soul is really calling you to as your higher soul goal at this point in time? It's a great question for you to contemplate, journal, tap in with, close your eyes, tune into your heart about. So this new moon is also a shadow time, and because it is a dark moon, and it can bring up some of those shadow parts, the things that keep us from what it is that our heart desires as well. So when we remember our true essence, we are not separated from the source of our being. We have the higher frequency to be able to not only articulate it, see it, like how many times have you had a vision? How many times have you had an intuitive hit? How many times have you known to the core of your being, oh, that's what I'm being called to? But then you open your eyes, you get up off the meditation cushion. What gives you what you need to be able to follow through? We must stay aligned. That's why I'm so passionate about helping people to live from the inside out, to create their world, their lives, their businesses, their well-being, all from the inside out. And in this day and age with so much coming at us, and this is one of the reasons I created the full moon healing circles, is to help us to move past those blocks. There's just so much coming at us. There's so much. If we could just keep clearing that path in front of us, we could start to actualize more of these things. And then we're in not only great service for us, we're in great service for the collective as well. So as Mercury goes direct on the 15th, again, you're going to have these things that are coming through in this new moon time. You're going to also have that brilliance and that clarity to be able to move forward. Let's talk a little bit about the retrograde energy, because it's very important, because we have so many planets retrograde right now. I talk about that in my September update as well. Saturn is directly across the chart, aspecting, casting its glance, its drishti on Leo from Aquarius. And Saturn is it's our great planet of perseverance, of commitment, of responsibility, hard work, and even sacrifice. So we've got that energy beaming at this new moon, along with Jupiter. Now Jupiter's trining all the fire constellations. It's casting its grace, because Jupiter brings vision and purpose and wisdom and spirituality and knowledge and inspiration and faith and luck. And so we've got both these energies, and Jupiter and Saturn aren't friends. We've got Jupiter, the great teacher. We've got Saturn, the administrator, the organizer, and Mercury's there too, of course, where they're shining their light, and that's the great merchant business and also our great communication. And so in both of them there, we've got both of those energies adding to supporting us, and it is a support for this new moon in order to attain our soul goals, in order to move forward with our agreements, according to be of greater service to humanity. Then we do need not only the grace of Jupiter, but we need the hard work and the commitment of Saturn. We need that hope and that inspiration and that commitment, so we can create our goals, live into them, and not just close our journal, leave it on the nightstand or on the next to our meditation cushion, and not remember it until the next day. And also there is another sub current to the energy here, because Saturn is in Shadabishak nakshatra, and in fact that's where the last full moon was, and where we did the last full moon healing circle. And then Jupiter is in Ashwini nakshatra, and these are both very healing nakshatras. So we've got, a healing component underneath this. So you have a lot of support from a lot of different dimensions here with this new moon to really start a new cycle that is aligned with truly what your soul wants for you, with agreements that serve you and those around you, with your higher vision and what you are here to lead. And how that can serve the greater good for all. I want to invite you to just, where can you let go of any resistance you have that's keeping you from the divine alignment we talked about, that will allow you to move forward on what you know to be true for you. Where can you let go of control? And instead of trying to control things, that's Saturn, where can you command things? And that's bringing us more into the sun's energy and the leadership of Leo. Where can you just take command, so that you can move forward? So this new moon ushers in just a great possibility for you to start this new cycle with higher vision, connected to your purpose, and to let go as well. because it's also about letting go. Reconnect with your inspiration. Have the faith that you need to move forward and move that purpose forward. So I encourage you to take some time and really contemplate what we've talked about today. I would love to hear in the comments what's coming up for you with some of these deeper soul wisdom questions that I've brought in today. Again, if you want to know, if you want some help, you want some support, all the links to all my readings are down below, including my eclipse and retrograde reading special. I'm doing live consultations, readings, 60-minute readings that are half my normal price, and they are for the eclipse pattern that we are finishing up that you need to get the lesson for, and the one that we are going into next, because the eclipses, the nodes of the moon will be changing in November. We're entering a whole new cycle of growth coming up, and we have so much retrograde energy. So in these consultations, I'm going to be talking about all of this in my eclipse readings. When you know how you're wired up and you know what's happening, what the energetics are bringing, then you have a greater opportunity to get in alignment with your soul, clear what you need to, step into what you're being called to, and be able to, actualize what you've come here for, and let go of what you've come here for as well, and get the lessons. All right. I appreciate you so much for being here. I appreciate you subscribing if you haven't already. I look forward to seeing you again soon for the full moon update this month and the healing circle. And again, leave me a comment. I read all my comments. So much love.